In the unpredictable world of celebrity relationships, you never know when a single phone call will send shockwaves through an entire fan base. Sometimes it's a reconciliation, sometimes it's a confrontation, and sometimes it's the kind of conversation that can't be taken back. This week, hip-hop legend Papoose found himself at the center of a firestorm after making a call to none other than boxing champion Claressa Shields. But here's where it gets messy. Instead of Claressa picking up, her fiancé answered the phone. And according to insiders, what followed wasn't just a short exchange of words. It was a heated moment, one that has people on social media taking sides, speculating motives, and questioning just what Papoose was hoping to achieve in the first place. The tone of this story isn't just about gossip. It's about boundaries, pride, and the tangled emotions that come when two high-profile lives intersect and then drift apart. Papoose, known for his loyalty, lyrical skill, and decades-long presence in the rap game, has often been respected as one of hip-hop's most committed family men. Claressa Shields, on the other hand, is a global sports figure, an undefeated champion, outspoken advocate for women in boxing, and someone who carries herself with the kind of confidence that commands attention in any room. For them to have been connected at all was enough to make headlines. For them to now be at the center of such a publicized confrontation, that's the kind of narrative that takes on a life of its own. To understand the impact of this phone call, you have to rewind the clock. For years, Papoose was celebrated not just for his music, but for his unwavering dedication to his wife, Remy Ma, especially during her incarceration. That kind of loyalty became part of his brand, the family man of hip-hop, the example of commitment in an industry often defined by fleeting relationships. But as with any long marriage, rumors eventually started swirling. Whispers about tension, about distance, about other people entering the picture. Claressa Shields' name began to appear in certain conversations, and while neither party confirmed a relationship, there were moments that suggested the two had a real connection. Whether it was genuine romance, deep friendship, or something in between, the bond seemed to fade, and Claressa moved on. Fast forward to the present. Claressa is now engaged to a man outside the entertainment industry, someone described by those close to her as protective, grounded, and fiercely loyal. He's the kind of person who, according to friends, has no patience for games or unnecessary drama. And in his mind, when a man calls your fiancé, especially one with a history with her, you answer that call not just with curiosity, but with clarity. It's late evening. Claressa's phone rings. On the screen, Papoose's name. She's in another room, maybe not even near her phone, when her fiancé sees it. According to one account, he pauses for a moment, maybe surprised, maybe annoyed, before picking up. On the other end, Papoose greets the voice, probably expecting Claressa. But instead, the tone is different. The fiancé's voice is deep, firm, and already carrying the weight of suspicion. "Who's this?" he asks. Papoose identifies himself, perhaps calmly at first, maybe even with a touch of familiarity in his voice. He explains he's calling to speak to Claressa, to check in, maybe to clear the air about the past. But before he can get far, the fiancé reportedly cuts him off. He makes it very clear, and in no uncertain terms, that Papoose has no reason to be calling. He tells him, flat out, that whatever history they had is in the past, and Claressa is moving forward. In some versions of the story, the fiancé even says something like, "You had your shot. You let her go. Don't disrespect what we have now by trying to bring the past back." From there, the energy in the conversation escalates. Papoose, perhaps feeling defensive, insists that he's not trying to cause trouble, just wanting to talk. But the fiancé's voice grows sharper, more forceful. He warns Papoose to respect boundaries, to understand that Claressa's life has changed, and to never try to contact her again. There's no softness in the delivery, no suggestion of compromise. The call ends abruptly, leaving Papoose on the other end in silence. However, a cutting insult from Claressa's fiancé, claiming that every serious girlfriend Papoose has ever had walked away unsatisfied, and that Claressa would never be one of his regrets. It was the kind of accusation that cuts deeper than most celebrity clapbacks because it didn't attack a career, a bank account, or an image. It attacked pride, masculinity, and the most personal aspects of a man's private life. And in the high-stakes, image-conscious world Papoose inhabits, that's a blow that can't be laughed off with a clever lyric or a witty tweet. Papoose has spent decades earning his reputation as one of hip-hop's most loyal and grounded figures. His marriage to Remy Ma was often held up as a model of commitment, particularly during the years she was incarcerated, when Papoose not only stayed faithful, but became a public symbol of ride-or-die devotion. That image, the loyal husband, the solid family man, became part of his brand. But over the past year, quiet whispers started surfacing that cracks were showing in that image. In those same circles, Claressa Shields' name began to pop up. Shields, already a towering figure in sports as an undefeated boxing champion and outspoken advocate for women in athletics, seemed worlds away from the rap scene. But her confidence, success, and charisma made her a figure who could easily hold her own in any environment. While no official confirmation of a romance between the two ever came, industry chatter suggested there had been a personal connection at some point. But Claressa eventually moved forward, leaving those rumors in the past. She became engaged to a man outside the music industry, someone who, according to people who know him, is fiercely protective of her, uninterested in celebrity games, and more than willing to stand up to anyone from her past. That's the backdrop that set the stage for this now infamous call. When Papoose decided to reach out to Claressa, maybe to talk, maybe to make peace, maybe to explore the possibility of reconnecting, it set off a chain reaction that neither man could have predicted. According to accounts from sources close to the situation, the call came in the evening. Claressa was reportedly in another part of the house, not near her phone when it rang. Her fiancé happened to be close by. When he saw the name on the caller ID, he didn't just let it ring. He didn't call her over, he answered. From the very first second, there was no warmth in his voice. No, "Hey, what's up?" or "Let me get her for you." Instead, there was a cold, pointed question: "Why are you calling my woman?" Papoose, perhaps expecting Claressa's voice, tried to keep it calm. He identified himself, explained he wanted to speak to her directly. But before he could get much further, the fiancé interrupted, and the interruption wasn't just to shut him down. It was to set a tone. He reportedly told Papoose that he had no business calling her, that whatever connection they had before was dead and buried. Then came the line that would ignite social media for days. "You've got a pattern, man. Every woman you've been with seriously, unsatisfied, that's why they leave you." Claressa isn't about to be another one of your exes with a story to tell. It was a shot not just at Papoose's romantic history, but his personal pride as a man. And it didn't stop there. The fiancé is said to have gone on, telling Papoose that Claressa is happy now, that she's with someone who treats her right, and that he's not about to let an ex come sniffing around trying to stir up old feelings. The mocking tone, the implication that Papoose was a repeat failure in relationships, it all hit like a combination punch designed to humiliate. Papoose didn't take the insult quietly. Witnesses say his tone shifted almost immediately, the calm edge giving way to a defensive bite. He reportedly told the fiancé to watch his mouth and accused him of speaking on things he knew nothing about. He reminded him who he was talking to, a man with a long career, a respected name, and a reputation for standing his ground. But the fiancé wasn't rattled. In fact, sources say he laughed, a short, dismissive laugh that only added fuel to the fire. He told Papoose that he didn't care about his rap career, his reputation, or what he'd done for other women. All he cared about was making sure Claressa was never in a position to regret being with him. The exchange reportedly went on for several heated minutes, with each man refusing to back down. Papoose accused him of insecurity, saying only an insecure man would answer his woman's phone and start throwing personal insults. The fiancé shot back that only a disrespectful man would call another man's fiancé without a good reason. And throughout it all, he kept circling back to the same dig, that Papoose's past relationships didn't end well because he couldn't keep the women satisfied, emotionally or otherwise. This wasn't a rap battle, but it had the same energy, sharp jabs, personal hits, each side trying to dominate the exchange without conceding an inch. The only thing that ended the call was Claressa herself, walking into the room mid-argument, taking the phone from her fiancé, and hanging up without a single word to Papoose. When news of the conversation hit social media, fans immediately split into camps. Some applauded the fiancé for defending Claressa so aggressively, saying that it's exactly what a committed partner should do when faced with a call from an ex. Others argued that he went too far, that bringing up private and speculative insults about Papoose's past relationships crossed a line of basic respect. One viral tweet read, "If my man doesn't defend me like that, I don't want him." Another countered with, "Defense is one thing. Driving someone's name in the dirt is another." The debate wasn't just about who was right in the moment, it was about the unspoken rules of relationships, masculinity, and respect. The second this story leaked online, the comment sections lit up like a fireworks show. On Twitter, some fans were quick to defend Papoose. They argued that he might have been reaching out for closure, or maybe he just wanted to make sure there was no bad blood. Others were far less forgiving, saying that the call was inappropriate and disrespectful, especially given Claressa's engagement. One tweet that went viral read, "If you're engaged, your partner answering calls like that is exactly how it should be." Another said, "Papoose has always been about family, but calling another man's fiancé is crossing a line, period." Then came the speculation. Was Claressa aware of the call beforehand? Did she give her fiancé permission to answer? Or was this just a moment of chance that exploded into something much bigger? And perhaps the juiciest theory, could Claressa's fiancé have been waiting for a moment like this to send a message, not just to Papoose, but to anyone from her past who might think about reaching out? This isn't just about a phone call. It's about pride. It's about how people handle their past when their present is solid and their future is already in motion. For Papoose, there may have been a genuine desire to reconnect, to express something unsaid. For Claressa's fiancé, the call was likely seen as an intrusion, a challenge to the life they are building together. In relationships, especially ones in the public eye, boundaries become even more crucial. The scrutiny, the rumors, the constant watchful eyes of fans and media, it means that even a small action can be magnified into a public test of loyalty. And in this case, the fiancé's reaction wasn't just about guarding Claressa, it was about making a statement. This relationship is protected. No loose ends, no open doors to the past. As of now, none of the three have gone public with their side of the story. No Instagram lives, no tweets, no interviews, just silence. And sometimes, silence says more than any statement could. But in the world of hip-hop and celebrity sports, silence can also be temporary. One podcast appearance, one cryptic Instagram caption, or one song lyric could reignite this entire discussion overnight. So now it's over to you. Was Papoose wrong for making that call, or was he simply trying to close an unfinished chapter? Was the fiancé right to check him so aggressively, or was it an overreaction? In the end, only the people on that call know exactly how it went down, but that won't stop the rest of us from talking about it.